of that woman of DA, the former chief whip, Mazoni, who said the EFF is an organization of the illiterate. I think he was confusing us for John Steinhazen. Or that surgery she did on her lips affected her mind. Because all of a sudden she just rocks up in parliament with new lips that looks like Vienna. We're like, what's happening now? So we thought she was doing a surgery for the lips. The pain affected the brain. Then she's confusing us for Steinhazen. Mbalula speaks about the EFF is an anarchist, demagogy, and all of that, yet they say they thrive on superior logic. And then he doesn't say, Mbalula doesn't say EFF, by the way. Every time he speaks, he says Malema. And he becomes personal like that. He calls my grandmother's surname at every turn, and when I respond, I'm going to be accused of being personal. But I'm being attacked here. My grandmother's surname is being used to attack a cause. Then he says, these people, they say they thrive on superior logic. This is not superior logic. But how can Mbalula know superior logic? How come? Because Mbalula is never set for matric for his organized thought to be tested. Huh? He has never done course 1 and course 2 for his organized thought to be tested. Because it can only be a superior logic if your thought process has been subjected to peer review and you know that your peers appreciate your thinking. At Wits, you don't defend the thesis. You defend the proposal. They say, what do you want to write about? You say, this is what I want to write about. They say, okay, come here. Come and present it in the master's class where your peers are and they engage you. I've done that. Mbalula has not done that. And therefore, he doesn't qualify to speak about a superior logic because his organized thought has never been tested. So, I mean, I'm not shocked because the guy became inkunzi yomkhethwa mkhwetha la. Inkunzi yomkhwetha la in Eastern Cape. Yeah, in the Western Cape, yeah, Cape Town, yeah. Dafika apa. Because Bategum umkhethwa is kidnapped. Dafika to come and liberate him. When I arrived there with guns, but it's too late. It's done. Inkunzi umkhethwa mkhwetha. Inkunzi. Inkunzi umkhwetha means you went there when you were too old. I called him, I warned him, I said, don't start with me. Don't start with me, because if those people are pumping you and saying, you are our match, you will cry very soon. Do not become personal. So all I'm saying is that we don't want Mbalulas in the EFF. We want you to learn and become the best of the best. If ufuna ufana noMbalula, you know where to find them. You can't be lost. Mbalula is my friend. I disagree with him fundamentally. I've got many friends in the ANC. I don't agree with them. And they know that when we start debating politics, we can't find each other. So we avoid talking politics. What is common between me and Mbalula? We support pirates, both of us. So it's easy to talk about pirates. But if I must choose between Mbalula and the EFF, I will choose the EFF any day. I will not choose it.
There is a cold war between the president of EFF, Julius Malema, and the current Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula. For some times now, the temperature between these two people, they don't seem to be getting along. When the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, yesterday had said this.
Running with a poster to the podium, you are attacking. So it could be interpreted in many ways. But nonetheless, these gimmicks were used to. It is just that yesterday took a different shape. And we as the ANC, we are not proud to see our parliament turn to a war zone. And we'll never be proud of that. If you choose to be rowdy and anarchist and you think that is what gives you votes, then the ANC can't dictate to that.
Then, in response, the president of EFF, Julius Malema, have to come and give also this crucial answer.
He doesn't say Mbalula, doesn't say EFF, by the way. Every time he speaks, he says Malema. And he becomes personal like that. He calls my grandmother's surname at every turn. And when I respond, I'm going to be accused of being personal. But I'm being attacked here. My grandmother's surname is being used to attack a cause. Then he says, these people, they say they thrive on superior logic. This is not superior logic. But how can Mbalula know superior logic? How come? Because Mbalula is never set for metric for his organized thought to be tested. Huh? He has never done course 1 and course 2 for his organized thought to be tested. Because it can only be a superior logic if your thought process has been subjected to peer review and you know that your peers appreciate your thinking. At Wits, you don't defend the thesis. You defend the proposal. They say, what do you want to write about? You say, this is what I want to write about. They say, okay, come here. Come and present it in the master's class where your peers are and they engage you. I've done that. Mbalula has not done that. And therefore, he doesn't qualify to speak about a superior logic because his organized thought has never been tested.
Now that you have managed to watch these two videos, let's have a conversation and try to understand what is all this about, because this is supposed to be just politics, but looking at things the way they are looking at right now, I doubt that in days to come things might even end up getting worse between these two individuals. So first of all, let's try to analyze these parts. When you get to listen to the president of EFF, Julius Malema himself, he described his attacks on the ANC as a political attack and not individual attacks. What does that mean? That simply means to say that he's there to give his point of view and disagree on the leadership of the ANC, because for those always know that Julius Malema, he came from the ANC. So if we have to look at the godfather, political godfather of the Julius Malema, that will be the ANC, because they're the one who had raised Julius Malema. They saw him how he grew up politically. Now that he decided to be the leader of his own movement or his own political party, this is something that never really sits okay with the ANC, especially many people within the ANC. They never imagine that some days in the future, our big arrival will come within us, the ANC member. They never have any idea of knowing that some days we'll be having a challenger such as a Julius Malema, the child that we give birth to politically and raise him within us. Today, he had put everything aside and is now turning against us. So that is a nightmare that sometimes when you get to look at the ANC members, they never really believe that that will be possible some days. Now, for that reason, they kind of like sitting, observing, and putting their trap toward the EFF leader Julius Malema. Now, on the side of Julius Malema, he kind of like, he came up with this strategy knowing that the political party, or the biggest political party in South Africa, which is the ANC, and he have the ambitions of leading the country, this country some days, with the EFF. Now, how will he be able to do so, to become a president some days in the future? It is only if the ANC, they can get to lose the people who usually vote for them. And the only way the EFF, I mean the ANC, can get to lose the majority of people who usually vote for them, it is only if the EFF, they manage also to increase the number of their voters. And these voters, obviously, they will come from the ANC. And that was their missions. Today, we can try to talk about on how the ANC, they kind of like losing power, whether it is in the municipality, whether it is in the general election, in the parliament, councillors everywhere. And we can try maybe to say that the ANC, they're having a serious problem within themselves. They're fighting, they're taking each other to court. They are not united as a one political party is supposed to be. We can say all this. But one thing for sure is that whenever all these things are taking place, whenever all these things are happening, it is actually benefiting someone out there. And that person, it is the EFF of Julius Malema. Because if you get to see majority of people that Julius Malema have now today in the EFF, most of them, they came in the ANC. And remember, before the EFF get to be born or to be alive, almost all the youth, they were born and raised and being taught by their parents to vote only for the ANC, because it is a revolution, a political party which has done so much of things in world so that the country can be where it is today. So this kid, this new generation of youth, all of them, they had grown up, I mean, they had put their trust in the ANC, and every time there is election, if there is someone who's still young and have to go to vote for the first time, they would be considering voting for the ANC. That was also contributing to the power, excuse me, to the power that the ANC usually have. But since the EFF came out, since himself, Julius Malema, as the president of EFF, he came out from the ANC as the president of the youth. So he lived with all the youth. I'm talking about in majority. So he lived with the majority of youth in the ANC at that time. And he came with this ideology of trying to plant in mind of this youth, trying to make them understand that they were actually being used in the ANC by all this other old generation. So this youth, they had come and put their trust in the EFF. And they start now building up this campaign on how to win each and every single young man and woman out there. And as we all know, whether we like it or not, guys, around the world, majority of population or age gaps and everything, majority are youth from 35 or 40s going down. The rest, are very old. So now, and they always say, according to the world report, that each and every country, when they organize the election, majority of voters, they are usually youth. Even for some of us who are having a social media account, when we go through our analysis, we get to see that majority of people who get also to watch or who are being connected on social media, they're young ones. So what does that mean? That means that is the secret that the EFF leader had managed so far to make sure that he tackle the youth so that he can have them in his political party. And the more he keep doing that, it is another way of defeating the ANC. Now, with that being said, let me now take you back to this dramatic Cold War that we get to see between EFF leader and the Secretary General of the ANC. With what Malema have done so far, it has made many people, especially those who are in power, in public positions in the ANC, it makes them realize that we are having a serious problem, and if we can't face it right now, then this is gonna be a serious problem for us. So we need to do something right now before it's too late, by finding on how we can also be able to attack at the EFF. Now, that is how politically this matter looks like. And that is the reason why you get to see in the ANC, they have to go and look some well-spoken people, people who are good influencer out there. When they speak, you know, people get to listen to them. They have to go and look for people who are well-loved, whether it is among the new generation or older generation. They have to go and look for these people, such as Ronald Lamola, Fikile Mbalula. There are a couple of people, some heads in the ANC whom they know very well that this one, if you speak now, in the next 5-10 minutes, they'll respond back. And they had to find these people and make them available to the high position in the ANC. Fikile Mbalula is not the first time that he gets to contest for the Secretary General of the ANC. But why they have to bring him back again? Well, it's because they can see the temperature. They can see that things are not going in our favor. We need someone who's an influencer. We need someone who's well loved by people. We need someone who can talk. Yes, someone who can talk like a parrot. We need someone like that so that he can be able to face our rival. Because at first, the ANC, they were kind of like neglecting the EFF of Julius Malema. Like, they're just small kids. But in the past 10 years, the ANC, they have begun to realize that we are having a serious problem. And if we can't do something about it right now, well, this will be our downfall. Therefore, we need to do something. Because they can get to see how the EFF, they have grown so fast in some few years ago. From 15 members in the parliament to 44 members, if I'm not mistaken. And all this happened only in two general election, which is not easy for any other political party out there, especially in Africa, where democracy is not reigning in most of the countries. You will find some opposition political parties which they have been existing for even over 5 decades. Yet, they have not even grown in their numbers. They never lead, they never done nothing. But the EFF of Julius Malema, they managed to do some, should I say what, appreciable work, which can be seen by everyone. So the ANC, they had to do something to find people who can be able to talk. If the EFF talk, them also they speak back. If the EFF criticize the leadership of the President Zuma or Ramaphosa, them also they can be able to do so. And that is normal in a democracy country such as this country. You know, we need to have that freedom of speech. You speak your mind. If I agree with you, I agree with you. If I don't agree with you, I don't agree with you. Simple is that. But the EFF leader Julius Malema, when he spoke, he have to say that the Secretary General of ANC, Fikile Mbalula, he kind of like attacking him personal. Instead of referring to the EFF, is busy using the names of his grandmother. And that it is becoming more personal. He even go far saying that I had called him to warn him that if he continue doing so, he will cry very soon. So, obviously, as he said again that personal, they don't have problem because they get even to support the same football team, which is beautiful. But politically, he says that there will never be a way that EFF President Julius Malema will have to collaborate or to join Fikile Mbalula his point of view. And he was very clear, even gave the example saying that if they have to put Fikile Mbalula there and the EFF here, I will definitely choose the EFF. That it is a political agreement or disagreement, should I put it in that way. But when he gets to say that, the moment Fikile Mbalula decide to make this become more personal, he must expect that I'll come back on him in a very harsh way because I'm not a coward. Now, we all saw how Fikile Mbalula came in media recently. From the time when the EFF leader spoke about the national shutdown. On the other side, we had Fikile Mbalula because we all know that the guy is good. Yes, the guy is good when it comes to social media. He loves trending so much. And so you get to see all his social media accounts. He have thousands and millions of followers who are busy subscribing to his social media accounts. So for when EFF leader announced that it was an opportunity for Fikile Mbalula to come back and attack Julius Malema, instead of attacking EFF or disagreeing with what is being said, but it was a way of him also coming back to attack the EFF leader. So the DFF, I mean, sorry, I want to say DA, but I mean to say the EFF leader, if he like, if Mbalula had to go to the part of attacking me, I think me, I'm the one who have a lot of tools or weapons that I can use against him. And this time, the only weapon he felt like he could, or should I say, the only bomb shed that he feel like could drop in the camp of Fikile Mbalula, that was the part of education. As he was busy talking to the EFF member about the education, he had to remind them on how Fikile Mbalula did not have metric and how Fikile Mbalula did not study, did not finish his studies, or even though he had all the opportunity to do so. And he had to go and remind Fikile Mbalula that he's a person who get to enjoy things at the old age. That it's something very big. And I'm afraid to say, the way I know Fikile Mbalula will come back at any time to strike on this one. So, guys, in all this, the question is to know, what do people of South Africa have to benefit from this? Because I believe politics should be something where democracy have to reign, where you give your point of view. Those who believe in you, they raise their hands. Those who don't believe in you, they keep their hands down and get to engage in debates, you know. Because when you listen to Malema himself, he says that me mentioning the President of Republic, President Ramaphosa, it is not like I'm having problem with him, because personally Ramaphosa is a good person, and that is true. That is true. President Ramaphosa, looking at him, the way he talk and everything, we can accuse him, we can say anything we want to say about him, but he is a good person. Even people who been living with him for so many years, they will tell you that no, the guy is a very good person. It's just the part of him being the president and not doing some of the things that maybe had raised a lot of people to turn against him. But physical like this, personally like this, I don't think he is a person who can have a lot of conflict with many people. So we don't need that, guys. Do politics in respect of one another, because I believe whether it is Julius Malema, whether it is Mbalula, all of them, they have children, they are parents. So I believe they should do things in the proper way, because imagine now that the president of EFF, Julius Malema, came back and respond back to Fikile Mbalula. What will happen if his Fikile Mbalula children and wife have to get to see what is being said about their father? Because maybe this is something that Fikile Mbalula, maybe himself and his children, they never get to discuss before. That, no, guys, look at me, I never go to school, or I never finish with my studies. So please make sure that you finish until the end, you study until the end. What will happen? What will happen to those kids at school with their friends when they're looking at them? They're looking at that video like, hey, look what we found out about your father. So is it true that your father never studied this? Is it true that your father never graduated? Is it true that your father what? So we don't need that, isn't it? So I hope that perhaps the message will be very strong, and if Fikile Mbalula is mature enough, he should find a proper way to not even respond to this and ignore and try to engage more politically than individuals, because it's not going to do good. We don't need that right now in this country. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Before you leave, make sure that you give us your thumbs up. We'll really do appreciate. Subscribe, follow to our social medias. We'll really do appreciate if you do so. But make sure that you also drop your comment in the comment section, so that we can get also to understand what you have to say about this Cold War between Mbalula and Malema. Thank you. But for now, continue to be yourself. Be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon. Ciao, ciao.